messier quarter than any of us would have liked. We had Air Force One, which is a program most people know a lot about. It took a hit.
Took a hit. Yeah, that was Boeing CEO David Calhoun yesterday discussing how the company lost $1.2 billion in their first quarter with a $660 million charge associated with delays in its deal with the Trump administration to build 2 new Air Force One planes. Now, if you recall, President Trump negotiated a condition in the contract of those 2 new planes that any overruns would be paid for by Boeing, not you, the taxpayer. It sure was nice to have a president that cared about saving us money. Contrast that with today when we have a U.S. economy that's shrinking to its weakest quarter since 2020. Here with more on this story is our company, the braver half of the Len Berman and Michael Riedel in the morning show on 710 WOR New York. Michael Riedel and senior policy analyst at the Independent Women's Forum, Carrie Sheffield. Good to see you both. Michael, I want to start with you for showing up. Len will enjoy knowing that. This new CEO there of Boeing realizes that they lost $660 million on those 2 Air Force One contracts because President Trump was negotiating a good deal for the American taxpayers. I mean, it's interesting. The headline there is all about what Boeing lost, right? It's not, I think, a better headline is what the American taxpayer saved.
Well, look, with President Trump, we had a great negotiator, all right? With Joe Biden, we have someone whose negotiator is Hunter Biden, which is basically negotiating to go to China, to go to Ukraine and say, hey, Mr. Oil Company, Mr. Natural Gas Company, I can kick it upstairs to the big man, so give me some money. That is what the Biden family is all about. With Trump, and this is why Trump, and Sean, you know this well, he was a great negotiator. And I mark my words, I think had he still been in power now, had he been reelected, he could have done a deal with Vladimir Putin, and he would have saved us from this awful war, this awful precipice of World War III, because the man knows how to deal with tough people. He knows how to get a deal that we can all live with. And that is something that the Bidens don't know, because all the Bidens know is how to get a deal for them to make more money secretly.
You know, Carrie, to that point that Michael's making, I was actually there when that deal was being done. I mean, you don't hear any credit in the press going to Trump. I mean, it's millions, but I mean, that was the mentality. How do we get a better deal for the American people, and how do we save money? And I mean, maybe it's petty, but I think it's important that the headline in the media reflect the wins that the president got.
Yeah, so what Boeing is trying to do is to cry me a river here about inflation and say, oh, the supply chain, you know, the last 2 years, we didn't know it was going to be overrun like this because of supply chain issues that are out of our hands. But look, I'm not going to fall for that tiny little violin. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be sad that the American taxpayer, because of America First, this is America First, that it's working for us. I mean, we just hit $30 trillion in debt in February, and that has never happened in the United States of America. I used to rate bonds. I like to joke I'm a retired bond girl at Moody's Investor Service. When you have more debt, it diminishes the ability for you to borrow at a lower rate, and the more debt we have, the higher our interest rates are going to be, which means we're going to have more inflation. So good on President Trump and good on you, Sean Spicer, for helping negotiate this deal. I just wish that the current occupant of the White House, who seems like a zombie, would actually care about what's happening to our country and what's happening with our debt. Unfortunately, he wants to forgive student debt. But guess what's going to happen if we forgive student debt? That is more debt to the taxpayers, which is going to cause even more inflation. So that's what's absurd and disgusting about all of this. So, you know, the White House is saying, well, if we have student loan forgiveness, people will go out and spend more. Actually, they won't, because the inflation is going to continue to spike.
Right. Carrie, this is where I think you're wrong. You know, to get rid of debt, you just need to spend more and more and more. I mean, that's how you get rid of it. You just spend more money. The Democrats have it right here. I mean, look at what's happening to the country. They clearly know what's going on. I mean, this is insane, Michael. You go from, we're talking about someone saving money, to now people just throw money at the wind, to throw caution to the wind here. I mean, you even look at the American Rescue Plan that passed in March of 2021. Where is that money going? Well, now reports have come out that billions of dollars have actually gone to this bias training. Billions of dollars of that went to bias training in public schools. I mean, this is how we're spending our money. After someone like Senator Warnock said that people were going to die, this was a life and death matter to get this money. And here's how they're spending money that should be helping Americans.
Look, the laws of economics are like the laws of gravity. What goes up will come down. When you print money, and that, frankly, is what we have been doing for a long time, and you print money and it's phony money and it's money that has no value, you are going to have inflation. And for some particular reason, the Democrats believe that everything in life should be given to you. You shouldn't earn it. You shouldn't work for it. It should be given to you. And the more you give people, the higher inflation will go. And the Democrats, for some particular reason, believe, and let them have at it, because remember what happened to Jimmy Carter with stagflation? If that's the recipe that Joe Biden wants, good, because then the Democrats are going to be wiped out in the midterm elections, and they will be wiped out in the presidential election.
Carrie, I only have about 30 seconds left, but do you think that Democrats at this point can change course at all? Because they keep saying it's going to get better, but we're almost a year and a half in and nothing has gotten better.
I mean, look, I have no hope of this. I wish as an American that were the case. But seeing people like Joe Biden going out there and saying things like our students, the parents, they don't belong to the parents. I mean, that is truly, I'm a Virginia volunteer. I worked on the Glenn Youngkin campaign. That's the recipe for victory for Republicans right there. So we'll see if they can turn course. But they don't seem to listen to anybody who could actually talk some common sense to them.
That's right. Yeah. Carrie, Michael, appreciate you both. Thank you both.
Good to see you guys. Take care.
You bet. All right, still ahead, the Biden White House is staring down new bombshell reports over Hunter Biden's multi-million-dollar business dealings. Just how high could this scandal go? Former United States Attorney General Bill Barr, he joins me in studio right after this.